Big Pharma is coming after RFK Jr., both through the Republican Party and the Democrats. I'm here to defend RFK Jr. Welcome to Doug in Exile. Shout out to the Quad Club, the people that watch all 4 videos all the way through. Love you guys. Love hearing from you guys in the chat. They do the 4, Quad Club, Quadzilla, all my people. First of all, it's Democrats primarily attacking RFK Jr. So I'm suspect, but I've heard from a lot of Republicans too going, look, RFK Jr., he's a lunatic. I have said on this show, RFK Jr., he's a lunatic, but you know what? He kills less people than the last 10 years of the CDC and Health and Human Services. He's more healthy for America than them. Again, if America didn't have an obesity problem, skyrocketing diabetes, skyrocketing heart disease, skyrocketing depression, autism, you might have a case. But everyone before RFK Jr., all they know is they were wholesale killing Americans. So I'm willing to give someone else a try. And he seems to be pretty pro-science. And I like following the data, not your dangerous protective traditions funded by every big pharma. How many of you, everyone in my audience, I went and sat with my buddies this weekend, and we had a weekend. You know what? 4 of them, they're on statins, Lipitor, antidepressant medication. If everyone's on pills, 1 in 5 kids are on anti-anxiety, antidepressant pills. Pills are not a solution. You don't just take a pill. I take a pill, I get my testosterone up, I get my blood thinned. Everything's a pill. How's everyone doing with that under the previous people? Let's give RFK Jr. a chance. Here's RFK Jr. torching the living hell out of this Democrat Wyden, this W-Y-D-E-N, evil Democrat, who says RFK Jr. sacrificed children with some of his policies, and RFK Jr. is going to absolutely destroy this guy. I don't need to tell you guys that Democrats hate people. Watch this.
Decisions to get scientists and doctors out of the way and allow conspiracy theories to dictate this country's health policy. I don't see any evidence that you have any regrets about anything you've done or plans to change it. And my last comment is, I hope that you will tell the American people how many preventable child deaths are an acceptable sacrifice for enacting an agenda that I think is fundamentally cruel and defies Congress.
Okay, fundamentally cruel. Let's talk about how many preventable deaths, how many dead babies every day, Democrat? How many? About 1,500, sometimes 2,500. Mostly black babies, sir, Wyden. Let's talk about the preventable. You do not care about babies. You do not care. So first of all, this is politics. This guy is funded by Big Pharma, gets his money, and he was told go extra hard to go after RFK Jr. Get that guy out of office. Remember, Health and Human Services is the largest budget in all of government. It's bigger than Social Security, bigger than the military, bigger than anything else. Health and Human Services has the biggest budget in all of government, so it has the most stakes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do I get a reply? Or Senator, you've sat in that chair for how long? 20, 25 years, while the chronic disease in our children went up to 76%.
He said nothing. He didn't care. 26 years. It's the chronic disease has gone up 76%. So before he said nothing, and now RFK Jr. is in office for 8 months. And this guy's having a cow going, how many of these babies' responsibility are you going to take for their lives? This is fake. You cannot trust Democrats or Republicans that are getting paid for by Big Pharma. And that's a lot of people on our side, including John Kennedy going Republican Christian, going after RFK, going, he doesn't make us feel safe and secure. I'm not saying everyone's bought and sold, okay? I'm not saying everyone who disagrees with I've seen too many people disagree with them, but I disagree with their basic metric that after what our government did, after the Health and Human Services and the Center for Disease Control said that you must transition kids all the way down to babies, you can transition them or give vaccinations or shut down schools, or that those little cloth masks worked. They discredited themselves. RFK isn't the lunatic. The policy of the last 20 years is lunatic.
And you said nothing. You never asked the question why it's happening. Why is this happening? Today, for the first time in 20 years, We learned that infant mortality has increased in our country. It's not because I came in here. It's because of what happened during the Biden administration that we're going to end.
That we're going to end. It came in under the Biden administration, and this political big pharma hack had nothing to say about the spike in infant mortality over the last couple of years. He said everything's fine, but then as soon as RFK Jr. comes in and sits in this the Center for Human Services, he goes, someone has to give an account for these dead babies. These people do not care about dead babies. They care about getting funded. And wait, there's more. This is the reason why they're terrified. This is going to this haunts me. Remember yesterday when I said that Russia, Kim Jong-un, and President Xi of China were walking and having a good chat. Watch the video from yesterday. Walking along, talking about organ harvesting and being able to transplant organs when you're 70 to help you live till you're 150 years old. They get their organs, they pull them out of live people. They're Uyghur slaves. You go, oh, that's the communist dictators in other countries, right? Third world. No, it's happening here. Chuck Grassley questions RFK Jr. This is why big pharma and rich elites don't want RFK Jr. to be in that seat. He's doing an investigation.
Doesn't happen again.
We have mounted a major investigation of misconduct, of illegal behavior, of organ harvesting, of living people, of line skipping, of favoritism, of all kinds of scandalous behavior inside the organ procurement organizations. We have already ended the contract, terminated the contract to the sole source provider. We are reorganizing the entire industry so that this can never happen again. I'm happy to go into the details with you if I had more time.
Thank you, Senator Cornyn.
Yeah, you got to end that. I've heard stories about the organ harvesting here. I don't want to get into it either. And I don't want to get ahead of my skis on it, but he's conducting an investigation. People are cutting in line. People are being declared. They're trying to find a medical way to declare them dead when they have the organ harvesting thing on them so they can take their organs and give them to someone else. That's all. Barbaric. Don't you think it's worth an investigation, even if you don't believe it? Are you afraid to look? Are you afraid to have this guy who wants to go look? Why are Democrats and Big Pharma afraid of what this guy is going to find when he turns that rock over? Caroline Leavitt has a great answer. Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. is taking flack because he's over the target. The Trump administration is addressing root causes of chronic diseases, embracing transparency in government, and championing gold standard science, data, evidence, empirical evidence. Can you see it, hear it, smell it, touch it? In a laboratory, facts, not opinion, not masks work. Fauci said masks work, 2 masks work. Nah, masks aren't very effective. We just told them that so that we told them masks wouldn't work so that they wouldn't hog all the masks. Everyone was sewing their own masks and handing them out in church. Remember that? Only the Democrats could attack this common sense effort. We're going to talk more about that common sense, but first, a lack of common sense. This is posted by the Trump-hating rhinos at the Bulwark. They think Elizabeth Warren made a great point. I'm going to show you how Elizabeth Warren is disingenuous, doesn't mean any of this, and once herself proves she's an imbecile.
Medicaid will
Tell
still
the
pay.
head of the CDC that if she refused to sign off on your changes to the childhood vaccine schedule, that she had to resign.
No, I told her that she had to resign because I asked her, are you a trustworthy person? And she said no. So if you had an employee who told you they weren't trustworthy, would you ask them to resign, Senator?
So I'm sorry, but this is not what she has said publicly. She has
Well,
said.
I'm
she
not
was
surprised about
free of
that.
votes. So you're saying she's lying?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm saying she's lying too. And I'm saying Elizabeth Warren is a liar too. She claims she's Native American to get an easier time and to pay for her college. She went and took the pain and suffering trail of tears of Native Americans, and this albino white honky said, I got a certain percentage of Native American in me, and I'm so disadvantaged, and my people were so disadvantaged, I need free college. This person is a long-time lying fraud. And she's saying, how dare you, RFK Jr., call the head of the CDC a lying fraud, head of the CDC that came out for trans people, saying men can have periods. We need extra bathrooms. Men can get pregnant. Masks work. Cloth masks work.
Every conversation I had with her, there
And
were
let me get
witnesses.
this straight. This is the same person that less than a month earlier, you stood next to her and described her as unimpeachable. And you had full confidence in her, and that you had full confidence in her scientific credentials. And in a month, she became a liar?
Yeah, you should ask her what changed. And by the way, a month ago, you were voting against her.
I love RFK Jr. I love little Robert Kennedy. He just smashed her. She goes, you stood by her and said she was impeachable? He goes, yeah. And 1 month, she goes, what changed? He goes, yeah, what changed? A month back there when I was standing by her, you were voting against her certification because Trump wanted her. It's all politics, guys. Go back to bed. Don't you worry. You're safe from any science if a Democrat is promoting it. You're safe. Just oppose everything they say. You already know they do not care about science. They said white people are more evil than blacks, genetically more prone to violence. They said men can have babies. They said the most insane anything. It's anti-science. They said cow farts were killing the world. These people are nuts. They make RFK Jr. look sane.
Oh, because you thought she was either incompetent, ineligible, or unsuited to the task.
I voted against her because I was afraid she was going to bend the knee to you and Donald Trump. And it looks like she didn't bend the knee, so you fired her. Look, you're putting America's babies' health at risk.
Pro-abortion right here. So she's complaining that RFK Jr. is putting babies' health at risk. Elizabeth Warren, you do not care about. And she promotes embryonic stem cell research. She's for using baby bodies to perform scientific study. And she's saying that RFK Jr. is putting babies' health at risk. I highly doubt it, Elizabeth Warren. You lying, fake Native American, stolen valor. I think I'll have a beer. Remember when she robotically pretended to be a human being? Hey, honey, I have a normal idea. Let us go. I think I'll have a normal beer, just like normal people do, honey.
Seniors' health at risk, all Americans' health at risk, and you should resign.
Yeah, you should resign. You know what, Elizabeth Warren? May RFK Jr. live long time in that office. Fake news. Wait, here's JD Vance defending Kennedy. When I see these senators trying to lecture and gotcha Bobby Kennedy today, all I can think is you all support off-label, untested, and irreversible hormonal, quote, therapies for children, mutilating our kids and enriching Big Pharma. You're full of SHIT and everyone knows it. That's the theme of this show. You Democrats, every one of them supported off-label, untested, irreversible hormone therapies for children going through life-altering forever. And Big Pharma was the biggest moneymaker on that. We all know it. Thank you, JD Vance, for backing your guy up and not caving to political pressure. Someone's endangering kids. Someone's anti-science and anti-human. It's not RFK Jr. And I'm willing to go with him because everyone stood by for the last 10 years, including Republicans, didn't fight enough. You did not fight hard enough for the children. So don't give me this, oh, I'm a science guy. I'm really uncomfortable with RFK Jr. You're full of S too. Here's Rand Paul, the doctor. Rand Paul says, let me get this up on screen so you can read it with me. He says, this is what an agenda for restoring public trust in HHS looks like. Thank you, Secretary Kennedy. This is from the good doctor who took a Hippocratic oath, and he is not beholden to Democrat Big Pharma.
Ending gain-of-function research, child mutilation, and reducing animal testing.
Okay, is anyone here for gain-of-function research? because that's the primary goal. Anyone here want to expand animal research, animal testing, where Fauci let flies eat out a beagle's face, gender bending, giving trans before they even go through puberty blockers? Is anyone for that?
We are addressing cell phone use in schools, excessive screen time for youth.
Who wants more screen time for youths? That's what the Democrats are fighting. Anyone here think it's a good idea for youths to have more cell phone use, more screen times in school?
The lack of nutrition education in our medical schools.
We have morbid obesity across American youth more than ever before, ever in our history. And this guy's going to try and turn it around. And Democrats have a complete conniption.
Sickle cell anemia, hepatitis C, the East Palestine chemical spill, and many, many others. At FDA, we are now on track to approve more drugs this year than at any time in history. I'm also proud to say that HHS under President Trump is doing more with less. We have taken measures to fight waste, fraud, and abuse. Just by eliminating duplicative enrollments in CMS, we are saving taxpayers $14 billion a year. Meanwhile, we are expanding access for people who need it. We are ending racist diversity, equity, and inclusion practices and instead focusing on aiding low-income and vulnerable families, regardless of their race, which was the original intent of Title X.
Remember, they were favoring vaccines for blacks, and lo and behold, they ended up having more autistic kids. You know what, Democrats? You guys have corrupted science. Science has been corrupted by pharmaceuticals. It's time to wipe it all clean, start over, give RFK a long leash, and we'll check the results. And you know what? The results will tell you. If the results get worse under him, Biden administration over the last 4 years, hats off, fire him. If they get better, then even more, you guys owe him a huge apology for saving what I believe will be thousands of children's lives, saving money. And that's really why all these Democrats are after him. I back him up 100%. If you guys back up RFK Jr., let me know in the chat below. Many of you are on need pharmaceuticals. You're on prescription drugs. You're in need. How do you like the idea of having other races get their cheaper medicine before you do? Is that how we do it in America, my friends? RFK Jr. is ending all that. And I'm thankful. I think he's a godsend of some kind. I'm Doug, In Exile. Shout out to the Quad Club. Subscribe.